Many years ago, I noticed that chocolate was tasting different, but I assumed immediately what most people would. Oh, it's just my nostalgia talking. The usual spiel, everything tastes better when you're younger, blah blah blah. Well, licorice didn't, I can tell you that. As a kid, I remember munching on a big block of chocolate for my birthday while watching A Bug's Life. While obviously there's some nostalgia there, I distinctly remember that chocolate from 1998 did seem to taste different to what I eat now. The thing is, it's not just me noticing this. In recent years, there's been a lot of public backlash aimed at both Reese's chocolate and Cadbury chocolate for changing their recipe over time. Recently, for example, the grandson of the creator of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups spoke out about this issue publicly. He called out the Hershey company for changing his grandfather's recipe. He claimed when he looked at the new recipe that the ingredients had been replaced with cheaper, less tasty ones. Reader's Digest talked with a candy scientist about this, Michelle. They've been in the candy industry for 30 years, so they've seen some of these changes firsthand. Let's see what they think. According to them, the group of people with chocolate buying power has shifted from 30 years ago. It's not boomers with that buying power anymore, it's millennials. And for millennials, price is the #1 factor that influences what we buy. And unfortunately, managing that chocolate cost has led to chocolate recipe changes. That has meant companies sometimes replacing milk chocolate with quote-unquote chocolate candy or other cheaper ingredients that still taste relatively close to the original. And this is where one of the big problems comes in. If you happen to watch that Downer video I did a couple years ago on foods disappearing, you might remember cocoa prices are skyrocketing due to poor harvests from climate change. So it isn't all company greed. A company like Reese's is driven to develop chocolate that meets our tightening budgets, and ideally, deliver that same chocolatey eating experience from our childhood. Another reason for different tasting chocolate is a slew of new flavors. For example, Reese's Strawberry Peanut Butter and Jelly Cup. What a combination! Apparently rotten millennials like me are asking for new flavors like these ones. And obviously, these changes of flavors are going to taste different to the chocolate we remember. So what are the chocolate recipe changes from the last 30 years? Well, let's look at Reese's changes. Over the years, Reese's has admitted to subtly substituting cheaper compound coatings on their seasonal Reese's chocolates. For years, some consumers were noticing the change in taste. Some reported Reese's tasting less chocolatey and having more of a gritty taste. I asked my dad and he also reported this more gritty taste to what he remembered. And this is what led to the public outcry that culminated with Brad Reese writing a scathing letter to Reese's,
saying it is quietly replacing the very ingredients that built Reese's trust in the first place.
"This ain't my dad's chocolate, change it back." Why does he sound like Elvis? And Reese's damn well noticed. See, fortunately, Reese's grandson Brad still does carry some clout. And Hershey's, the owner of Reese's, announced it would shift those altered ingredients back to the traditional, real milk chocolate recipes by 2027. Bit of a long wait on there, but I guess that's progress. The thing is though, I don't think all these recipe changes have been bad. For example, back in the 1980s, the FDA attempted to reduce the salt in many foods. And likewise in chocolates today, we're seeing efforts to reduce the artificial colors and flavors, as colors like yellow number 5 can make kids hyper. These can be positive, healthier changes, but it doesn't always match the candy of our memories. These healthier changes reminded me of the changes KFC made to their recipe. Back in the day, they used to fry their chicken in white lard and animal fat, which is really unhealthy. But around the 80s and 90s, they instead started deep frying their chicken in hydrogenated vegetable oil. Then, in 2007, they changed to soybean oil. KFC in Australia changed to canola oil in 2012. Although this was a change in taste for consumers, oils like canola oil are lower in saturated fat and higher in healthy fats. Yeah, it's a healthier KFC, but it is also different tasting to what some might remember. Another big chocolate that changed their recipe was Cadbury. Perhaps the biggest recipe change was in 2009. That year, the company Kraft launched a hostile takeover of Cadbury. And longtime Cadbury fans noticed a big change to the taste and texture of their favorite chocolate. Kraft came in and replaced cocoa butter with cheaper vegetable fats like palm oil and vegetable oil. This happened in various countries like the UK. After these changes, some chocolate fans reported a more sugary taste than previously. So yeah, there have been recipe changes, but our perception of taste does change a bit with age. But I do want to make clear, it's not just nostalgia playing tricks on us. There's an actual physical change to our taste buds as we grow. The stereotype is typically to hear people say, "Oh, sweet things taste blander as you get older." But actually, the opposite is true. According to the University of Illinois, children and adolescents need 40% more sugar in a food for them to detect the sweetness that adults do. Thus, a treat you remember being deliciously sweet as a child may now taste much too overly sweet and sugary. And additionally, medications, gum disease, smoking and drinking can alter the taste of candy as well. But these aren't necessarily factors we think about when we're tasting our childhood favorite candy. So no, it's not just nostalgia, it's a factor, sure, but there have also been physical changes to your taste palette as an adult, and some recipe changes over time. Sometimes things just change over the decades. But honestly, when I do have a treat, chocolates like Reese's and Cadbury still taste pretty good to me. If you like it, I'd love to hear what you think of that chocolate taste nowadays yourself. Do you think it's better than what you remember, or worse? Thanks for dropping by. I hope you have a very pleasant day. Don't worry, the credits won't take me 12 hours today, but I do really have to thank my remaining patrons. I'm editing most videos myself again to try and cut more costs, so I do have to say any patron support is deeply appreciated, if only to offset me getting RSI in my fingers. And an extra thanks to these patrons, whom I like to give a wisdom quote. Anna Jones, it's not the words you speak, but the way you say them that matters. Phoenix Star YT, neither success nor failure is the end, so keep going. John Bondi, someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Angel Angeline, life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% is how you respond to it. Glitter Wolf, you can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. 3 Cat Day, it takes strength and restraint to be gentle. Pixel Poppy, either you run the day or the day runs you. Katie and Dalton. To Katie, just trying to find one that isn't cliche for you. The actions of today form the foundations of tomorrow. To Dalton, age is not a limit for dreams and goals. Furry of Fury, we can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. Miss Arceus, be light through your actions, and darkness will disappear around you. Joseph Bowers, what great thing would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? Jordan McCann, we do not remember days, we remember moments. Chandler Amethyst, nothing is more exhausting than the task that's never started. Megan Bruns, you might feel stupid asking questions, but you look stupider when you don't get it because you failed to ask. The Hug Wizard, uncertainty is an uncomfortable position, but certainty is an absurd one. Rain Graves, adapt what's useful and reject what's useless, and add specifically your own. Satin Yoshi, anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. William Johnson, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here in the universe. Erdassin, always be excited about the possibilities. Never be entitled to them. Joe Ferry, don't let what you cannot do interfere what you can do. Mewtwo Shadow FNAF Girl, you cannot overestimate the unimportance of practically everything. Check it Omega, if you want to kill an idea in the world today, get a committee working on it. Oh, that is so true. Kelly Bisson, life starts all over again when it gets crisp in the fall. Neil Speed, of all the paths you take in life, make sure a few of them are dirt.